Picture this. You're walking alone through a dense forest. The air smells like pine and damp earth. Birds chatter somewhere above you, and the wind whispers through the trees. Peaceful, right? Until you notice something in the dirt. A footprint. Not just any footprint. A massive one. 5 toes. Perfectly human-shaped. But it's more than 15 inches long. Now, unless Shaquille O'Neal recently took up barefoot hiking through the wilderness, something doesn't add up. You look around. The forest suddenly feels a lot quieter. Was someone here? Or something? Welcome to the mystery of Bigfoot. Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch, is one of North America's most famous legends. According to eyewitnesses, he's a towering creature standing somewhere between 7 and 10 feet tall, covered head to toe in dark hair, and walking upright like a human. Imagine a very large, very hairy neighbor who refuses to pay taxes and prefers living in the woods. Witnesses often say he moves surprisingly fast for something that looks like it should have its own zip code. Some claim he appears only for a few seconds before disappearing into the trees like the world's shyest giant. Others say there's something else you'll notice first. The smell. Descriptions range from wet dog to rotting garbage, to what one unfortunate witness called a dumpster behind a seafood restaurant in July. So if you're hiking in the woods and suddenly smell something that makes you reconsider your life choices, you might want to look around. But the story of Bigfoot didn't start with blurry photos and questionable documentaries. It actually goes back hundreds of years. Long before modern explorers arrived, Native American tribes across North America told stories about giant hairy beings living deep in the wilderness. These weren't always told like campfire ghost stories either. Many tribes treated these creatures with respect, sometimes even reverence. Different tribes had different names for them. But the idea was similar: powerful, mysterious forest dwellers that preferred to keep their distance from humans. The word Sasquatch itself comes from the language of the Coast Salish people of the Pacific Northwest. So while modern culture treats Bigfoot like a celebrity hiding from paparazzi, to many early cultures, these beings were simply another part of the natural world. Just much bigger and considerably hairier. Fast forward to the mid-20th century, when the legend of Bigfoot exploded into mainstream culture. In 1958, construction workers in Northern California were building a road through the forest when they discovered something strange near their job site. Huge footprints. Day after day, the prints kept appearing in the dirt. They were enormous, far too large for any human. One local newspaper picked up the story, and soon, people everywhere were talking about the mysterious tracks left behind by what reporters nicknamed Bigfoot. The name stuck. And suddenly, everyone was wondering the same thing. Was there really a giant creature wandering through the forests of North America? Then came the moment that would turn Bigfoot from a rumor into a full-blown phenomenon. The year was 1967. 2 men named Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin were riding horseback through the forests of Northern California. They were actually hoping to find evidence of Bigfoot, which is already a bold hobby choice. Suddenly, near a riverbank, they saw something moving. A massive, hairy figure walking upright. Patterson quickly grabbed his camera and started filming. The creature strides across the frame, turns its head slightly toward the camera, and then calmly disappears into the trees. The clip lasts less than a minute, but it became one of the most famous pieces of mysterious footage ever recorded. Known as the Patterson-Gimlin film, it's been analyzed, debated, slowed down, enhanced, and argued about for decades. Some experts say the creature's movement looks too natural to be a person in a costume. Others say it's exactly what a person in a costume would look like, especially if that person skipped leg day. To this day, no one has proven definitively what the film shows, and that uncertainty keeps the mystery alive. Since the 1960s, Thousands of sightings have been reported across North America. People claim to find enormous footprints in the mud, sometimes over a foot long. Others describe strange discoveries in the woods. Branches snapped high above the ground. Massive piles of sticks arranged in unusual shapes. Large nests made from leaves and branches that look, well, suspiciously like something giant might have slept there. Some hikers report hearing eerie sounds deep in the forest at night, long echoing howls or loud wood knocking noises. And when you're alone in the woods, far from civilization, those sounds tend to feel a lot louder. Most sightings occur in the Pacific Northwest, particularly in Washington, Oregon, and Northern California. If you were designing a hiding place for a mysterious creature, this region would be perfect. Endless forests, towering mountains, heavy fog, millions of acres where a large animal could disappear without anyone noticing. But sightings aren't limited to the Northwest. Reports have surfaced in nearly every U.S. state, from Florida swamps to Ohio forests, even parts of New York. Canada has its share too, especially in British Columbia and Alberta. What makes it stranger is that people from completely different places often describe the creature in remarkably similar ways. Tall, hairy, walking upright, extremely camera shy, almost like the world's worst celebrity. Of course, scientists remain skeptical, and for good reason. Despite decades of searching, no one has ever found a body, bones, or any clear biological proof that Bigfoot exists. Hair samples collected from alleged encounters usually turn out to belong to known animals, like bears, deer, or occasionally someone's very confused dog. Photographs and videos are often blurry, which is suspicious, because somehow every camera becomes a potato the moment Bigfoot appears. Some researchers believe sightings could be misidentified animals, especially bears standing upright. Others think many cases are simply hoaxes. And then there are the more unusual theories. Some believers think Bigfoot might be an undiscovered species of ape. Others suggest he could be some kind of ancient human relative. A few even believe Bigfoot could be something stranger entirely, an interdimensional creature or a spirit connected to nature, which admittedly raises a lot of follow-up questions, like whether interdimensional creatures also smell like wet garbage. But proof or not, Bigfoot has become a massive part of American culture. He appears in movies, cartoons, books, and video games. Entire towns host Bigfoot festivals. There are Bigfoot museums, roadside statues, and even guided expeditions where people venture into the wilderness hoping to catch a glimpse. Thousands of enthusiasts set up trail cameras in remote forests searching for evidence. Most come back with photos of deer, raccoons, and the occasional confused squirrel. But hope keeps them searching. Because that's the thing about mysteries. They refuse to go away. And maybe that's why the legend of Bigfoot continues to capture our imagination. It reminds us that even in a world mapped by satellites and filled with smartphones, there are still places where the unknown might be hiding. Deep forests, remote mountains, quiet places where something could watch from the shadows, just out of sight. So the next time you're walking through the woods and the forest suddenly goes quiet, take a look at the ground. If you see a footprint the size of a dinner plate, you might want to walk a little faster, because somewhere out there, the most famous mystery in North America might still be wandering through the trees. And if Bigfoot is real, he's doing a remarkably good job staying hidden.